Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss semi-trailers. So, in one of our previous videos, we have discussed dispatching of a power-only unit, basically a semi-truck without a semi-trailer. In that video, which I'm going to link below, we discussed the issues related to dispatching of such truck. However, today what we are going to talk about is a situation when such a power-only client may ask you, what kind of semi-trailer should I get? This question also may come up when you are onboarding a brand new client who just got their authority and they are just getting their equipment. So in terms of the truck, it doesn't really matter what kind of truck, semi-truck they are going to purchase, but in terms of the trailer, there are certain factors that need to be considered. Now, you, by outlining different pros and cons to your client, will earn a certain reputation in terms of your experience. You will appear more knowledgeable, and it is more likely this client is going to work with you long term. So let's get started. In our course, we basically discuss three main semi-trailer types, and those are dry van, reefer, and a flatbed. These are the three most commonly used trailer types in semi-truck transportation. So let's concentrate on those. Which one of these three your client should get? Let's start with a flatbed. Flatbed trailer is a very popular choice. It usually commands higher rates, which is great. However, something that needs to be considered, that a flatbed trailer requires additional knowledge and experience on behalf of the driver, because such trailer, when it's being loaded, the freight cargo has to be secured. Sometimes it has to be tarped. So it's also very physically demanding work on the part of your client. And not everyone is willing or able to do this type of work. So unless your client previously had experience with flatbed trailers, it probably would not be a good idea for them to get a flatbed trailer. You may also want to remind them that along with the trailer, they will have to get certain accessories such as tarps, chains, straps, and so on and so on. So you need to make sure they are understanding what is required and are prepared to deal with it. Now, also another thing to consider, that flatbed trailer is somewhat seasonal. So in the summer, it usually makes more money because there's a lot of construction going on, and freight volumes are pretty high for this type of trailer. In the winter, there's usually less construction, and therefore flatbeds are not as busy and the freight volumes are lower, therefore rates are usually lower in the winter months. Now that we discussed flatbed, let's talk about reefer. That is a refrigerated trailer. Reefer is also very seasonal, okay? When there is a prime produce season, when a lot of, let's say, when a lot of fruits and vegetables are being moved, let's say out of Florida, those trailers are in high demand and sometimes command really high rates per mile. However, again, when during the winter season, when there is not much produce being moved, demand for them is lower. Now, there is also a very common misconception where your client may assume that a reefer trailer can be used as a dry van trailer. They just will not run a refrigerated unit, and this should work. However, it's true only sometimes. In some cases, reefer can transport dry freight. In other instances, it cannot. Certain products brokers will demand specifically a dry van, and they will not load this cargo on a reefer. Also, something your client may need to consider is the fact that by getting a reefer unit, they will have to upgrade their insurance because they're going to need a reefer breakdown insurance. They will also have to maintain reefer unit, which is basically another mechanical unit they'll have to deal with. They will have to fuel it, they will have to maintain it, and they will have to make sure that everything works properly, because if temperature in the refrigerator drops, the product they're transporting may go bad, and that will result in a claim. So there's a higher risk of damaging cargo, and that is something your client needs to be aware of. Again, if they have never used or never operated a refrigerated unit, they probably shouldn't be buying one. But if they do have such experience and they are willing to deal with additional liabilities and additional maintenance and additional expenses, then it may not be a bad option. Now let's talk about dry van. Dry van, that's bread and butter of this industry. That is basically a simple box trailer. It does not have a refrigerated unit. It does not require labor on the part of the driver in terms of loading, securing, covering freight. It is usually the cheapest one to buy. It is the cheapest one to insure, and it is the most versatile type of trailer. It is also less seasonal than, or it's being less affected by the seasonality, freight seasonality, than the other trailer types. It's pretty much all year round trailer. Yes, rates for dry van are usually lower than those for the reefers or flatbeds. However, also again, what needs to be considered is the cost of purchase, cost of maintenance, cost of insurance. So to some extent, even so, rate per mile might be lower. In the overall scheme of things, they're not really losing out all that much. So next time you're being asked a question, what kind of trailer would you recommend to get, you should outline these factors. Okay, it is ultimately your client's decision as to what kind of trailer they want to operate, but you should give them the pros and cons for each trailer type and let them decide what might be best for them and their business plan. And as I already mentioned, by providing this advice, you will gain some points with your client as an experienced dispatcher. And with all that being said, we are going to wrap up this video, and I will see you next time.